let's try again. Now, I'm going to need your help, guys, because if there is a glitch going on with Facebook or with part of my equipment, then I need to know. Unfortunately, when somebody came on for the last live that I did, they accidentally gave me a thumbs up when they meant to tell me that they couldn't hear any audio. So, which was a shame because I did the whole live again. So if you're there, if you're able to jump on and let me know that you can hear me, give me a thumbs up, type it into the comments box, please, please, please. And let me know that you can either hear me or that you can't hear me, because I would love to go through this evaluation process with you. I'm just going to bring up my page on my computer so that I can see questions that are coming up and comments that are coming up as well. While we're waiting to go into that, this evaluation process that I'm going to take you through is simple. It's a short thing to go through, and it's in relation to our Cortices Reboot series that we're starting tomorrow on the 1st of November, that I'm going to be running for 30 days. You'll find me every day here in my Facebook group page, and we're going to be spending a minute or two going through the Cortices Technique every single day. And if you've missed my previous lives, then you've missed a ton of really good information about what the technique is about, what it's going to do, how we tap it out, the reason why we do the tapping process as well. So if you haven't seen that, get onto those and you can watch those. And of course, if any questions come up for anybody, you can always let me know. Okay, so let's get into it. With the evaluation process, I've made it a really simple one for the purpose of what we're doing. Some of you are trained to do range of motion testing, or you'll know somebody that know how to do that. If you feel intuitively pulled to actually go through and do range of motion on any particular part of the body or the whole entire body, you can absolutely do that. I just wasn't called to do that for this point in time. But in saying that, when we do class, the combo access for animals and people class, we generally do some range of motion testing on day one of that, because people go through such really big shifts that by the end of the 2 days, it's tangible and you can measure it and really see the changes that people have gone through. So again, if you feel like you want to do range of motion, go for it. The good thing about watching this later, I suppose, is that you get to pause it, because I want you to grab yourself a book of some kind that you're going to be able to take notes in. What I will suggest is that you can choose a few different ways to gauge and measure your reactions and your changes that you go through for the course of the 30 days. You can either go through and on a weekly basis and reevaluate, see what's changed for you, what experiences you've had for the week, or you can wait until the end of the 30 days is up and then reevaluate, which is a phenomenal experience to go through. I'll definitely be running that as a live, because I will be running down and writing my own evaluation process. I'll be doing that early in the morning before we start doing our first live. The other thing that I was going to say is that during the course of the weeks and the months, I would encourage you to write down things that you notice are changing for you. Or just unusual experiences you go through, and that's for a number of reasons. So if you notice that you have heat in your back today, or tomorrow you felt light and fuzzy in the head, or the next day that you had a lot of peristalsis movement, so you had a lot of gurgling of the tummy or something like that, or vivid dreaming, write that down for two reasons. One is that it helps you understand, it helps build your relationship with understanding synchronicity and the way that things can be coming up to show you that something is shifting and releasing, or to show you that there's something perhaps that there's deeper there that you could look at. The other reason is that it builds a much better relationship with yourself. And that's ultimately one of the best relationships you're ever going to have to foster and nurture by far. So let's get into the actual evaluation process. I would first off like you to close your eyes, take a nice big deep breath. And as you're taking that nice big deep breath, imagine that you could take a step back out of yourself so that you're viewing yourself in front of you. And what I want you to do is just look and write down what the overall status is of you that you're experiencing at the moment. So if it looks like or feels like that the overall experience is frantic or busy or worried or fearful or concerning, then write that down. The second thing you want to do is write down any health or medical complaints that you have. Now for me, when I talk about health, I'm not just talking about your physical body. I want to know about your emotional health, your spiritual health, the health of your mind, so how you feel like you're doing psychologically and so forth. Definitely write down any medical complaints. And here's where I don't want you to get trapped. We're very good at assuming things and also sabotaging our things typically as human beings. So I don't really care whether this is something that has just come up for you this morning or yesterday or last week, or whether this is a medical thing, a health thing that you've had for 25 years. I still want you to write it down, okay? So whoever has just joined me, if you can let me know that you can hear me, that the audio is working, that would be sensational. I'd really appreciate that. Okay. Write the health and the medical stuff down, regardless of how long you've had it for, because the potential to see change is quite enormous, okay? Let me just see if we've got any comments here. We'll see what's going on. The next thing that I would like you to do is write down, now you can either do this from a seated position or get up and move around, is write down any aches, pains or restrictions that you notice that you have in your body, anywhere at all, okay? And if you would even like to go so far, and this can be extremely beneficial in the long run, is write down what your pain or level of uncomfortableness is from a scale of 1 to 10. And then what you can do is reevaluate that over time. So write down where it is in the body, what it is, whether it's a ache, pain, what it feels like. I want you to list any recurring feelings that you've had over the past few months. So I'm going to run through this with you. These can be things like, you can write them down and pause it if you like as we're going through. Feelings of being abused, criticised. I'm just reading this off my health and wellbeing form that I give my clients, because this is something that we all need to work through before I see people. Overworked, feeling of paralysed, depressed, rejected, despair, helpless, hopeless, paranoid, overwhelmed, muddled, persecuted, guilty, easily irritated, anxious, sad, grieving, unable to grieve, apprehensive, agitated, that's quite often a common one that comes up, uneasy, distress, fearful is another common one that people experience quite often, impatient, intimidated, restless, panic, intolerant, uncertainty, aggravated, annoyed, angry, outraged, nervous or worried. So you go through, write those down. I would also like you to write down the quality of your sleep, so what that's like for you, whether you wake up during the night, what you're doing to wake up during the night, how you feel when you wake up the next morning, if you're still feeling very tired or something like that. The other thing, and the last thing I would like you to write down is, are there any daily activities or anything that you find particularly difficult to do because of the complaints that you've listed above, either in the health and medical section or from the aches, pains and restriction section, okay? So if after all that you've got any comments, questions or concerns, put it into the comments. Let me know, because quite often a question that you have is also a question that somebody else has as well. And all going well, I'm going to see you tomorrow morning and we'll kick off on day 1. Thanks guys. Thanks for your patience. Bye.